have our students also.
Yeah, we have all our
Yeah,
students.
I thought basically I'll be addressing the students. Yeah, that
Yes,
is.
yes, yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
because the foundation course is for the students.
Yes, students.
Yeah, yeah.
But sir, I think it everybody needs it
Of course. I mean,
at any
everybody
point
is
of
a
life.
student. Everybody is a student till we leave. Yeah.
Yeah,
that
and
is,
otherwise also I feel that it is a dire necessity in today's time to go back to human values and
Yes.
revitalize and revive them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's an urgent necessity, we feel. So, Reena, Beshaki, can you put your name there so that?
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, these students are what? I mean, they have just joined the institute, or I mean, what is their this thing?
They are FY first year and second year student of all the three faculties: art, science, and commerce.
Okay.
And and the foundation course, as you said, it is basically dealing with that is creating the foundation, the basic general knowledge type of thing about economy of India in comparison to the world economy, human rights, geriatric problems, issues, conflict and stress management, time management, how to prepare for competitive exams, and all such topics are there. Women issues, many social issues as well, environmental ethics.
Okay.
So everything is in short covered up in the first year and second year. And they have 60, 20 and 20. So 20 internals, first and second. And we have only general knowledge questions in that. So we prepare them for competitive exams.
Okay.
Yeah, that is it. So we have you as a person today for this talk, and we are extremely
because
so happy.
I mean, let me see how much justice I can do for the topic. Yeah, because
you just have to.
Yeah, maybe part of my own experiences, I can always tell them. Yeah.
Yes, we are really looking. Tabasu was all so much. She was saying that how you are working and and then I was thinking I was completely overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vaishakhi, we would like to say something, please, about foundation course.
Yes,
she's the senior most member in the department, and she is very, very active and have making our syllabus, constructing and structuring our syllabus. All these teachers, Stephen Lobo sir, Reena madam, then Chandraban sir, Vaishakhi madam also very much has taken big lead in structuring when the college went autonomous at that time. So
yeah, it's a very well thought of this thing. Foundation course is very
really good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
Add to what Amit madam has told.
Yeah,
that we reach the student to the core. Other subjects, they are quite what to say. They teach only that part which is needed for them. For example, chemistry, they know chemistry, what is it, etc. But for FC, we have that particular thing that I can reach the student, or every teacher reaches the student to the root.
Yeah.
And we bring out the best in them, the potential and whatever. So whether it is competitive exam, whether we are talking about the economy of the country, or whether we are talking about stress management, we are with them at that level. So it is, apart from our own subject, teaching our own subject, this is a very, very different kind of subject which they like.
Yeah, they like very much.
Attend lectures. They really attend lectures because they want, it is a whiff of fresh air in their syllabus.
Yes. That is true. Yes. And here we have one more teacher from foundation course, Professor Chandraban Prajapati. Yeah, there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Reena, you would like to speak something about the subject?
Yes, sir. Welcome you on this platform. Especially, we are honored to be a part of our family. Now we can anytime we can call you at any moment like an ATM machine. Thank you so much for giving you the time, sir. This is because I feel this is a subject that rather than we should just speak upon at a FI, SY level, but it should go from the beginning, like the school level, like it is
Yeah,
really
actually,
needed.
in
It's
fact,
really
yes.
needed because the values which we have really, it's our principal sir suggested Amita madam to incorporate the values into the subject, and ma'am really said yes, this is really required, and she really worked hard to find it out how we can basically fit those values which are required, and she really tried it and managed it off to get it out, and now we can, I think we are doing justice to it because the way the student
React, yeah.
yeah, they react to
Respond.
they just speak about their own experiences also. Madam, we experience like this. What
Yeah.
if you would have been this position? What would be your solution? So it's like we are connecting with the students, and that matters a lot with the subject, whether it is a art stream, whether it is a science, or whether it is a commerce. It's a direct connectivity of the teacher to the student, and we're really thankful to University of Mumbai that they have introduced this subject.
Yeah, yeah.
But this subject need to be since starting, I feel so.
Yes, yes.
A student didn't say that, madam, what is foundation course? What is foundation? There is no foundation. I said foundation is really required, and this is
Without
We
the
also
foundation, we are
have,
nowhere.
we in civil services, the course is called foundation course. When we join,
Yes,
we
yes.
have
Yes,
a 3.5
yes,
months
yes,
course that is called foundation course.
Foundation.
yes,
So
yes.
that is going to make a lot of difference because it is going to introduce you to the completely new world.
Yes, yes.
Because you're all from different streams and you are entering into the administration, wherein you are exposed to the new reality. So for which the foundation is very, very important. So your basic knowledge about the various issues that are happening around is very important. So that you can correlate what's
Yes.
happening around. Because we all come from, many of us are from the engineering stream, many come from the medical stream. So for them, you have to make it as a level playing field should be created. So that
Yes.
is where the foundation on which the entire career is built.
Yes.
So, I mean, you have aptly coined a foundation course for your this thing. That is very
Yeah.
important and it's very apt also. Yeah.
We are extremely thankful to University of Mumbai also, who said that this subject or this particular, incorporating the basics of our life. See, we are connected to so many realms that are living in this life, but unfortunately, we are not aware of the issues related to this.
Yeah. Of
This,
late, things have moved
yeah,
towards the examination
yes.
oriented.
Unless and until we don't
Yeah.
confront reality, then it's how
Yes,
are we
yes.
going to know that where to find the problem and where you can get solution from? So
That
this
is
is
true. Yeah.
Even sir, you please speak something about the course. He's a teacher in political science. Very much, he has done a lot of things for foundation course. Even
Okay.
sir, 2 lines please on the subject, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. So we also have human rights. We cover certain aspects of human rights connected with fundamental rights.
Yeah.
The subject is so all comprehensive. That it tries to deal with a number of things. With women, children,
Yeah.
vulnerable groups. Then as
Yes.
students, how they need to understand fundamental rights.
Yeah.
All these things, and it's just apt to have you with us, sir, because to talk about values today, it has become so important. The line has blurred. One does not know where good ends, bad begins, or what decision one needs to take.
Yeah.
So it's very important for students to understand in perspective from the job point of view. From
Yeah.
you will give them this
Yes,
just an
yes.
eye opener as to what's happening in the world outside.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah.
Thank you. Shaki ma'am, please, can we start? First, I was just waiting for director madam for joining because yesterday she wrote that she's going to join. So I was just waiting for madam to join, but it's already 6 minutes past 6, so we can otherwise start the program. Vaishaki madam has got disconnected.
It looks like.
Yeah, I'll just try to contact her. is some technical problem with Vaishakhi madam. She was just logged out. Now she's trying from her mobile to connect. I hope she will connect soon. Yeah.
Hi, Amit.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi,
I'm
Amit. We are
extremely very glad, madam, to have you. Yeah,
नहीं क्या है इधर थोड़ा नेटवर्क है
yeah.
तो we
Even
just yeah
yeah.
sir is also there. Sir is also there.
Acha, sir is also come.
Yeah, he's there.
Oh, please.
Yeah,
Great honor.
I'm
Yeah. Extremely happy,
we
madam.
are joined. Himanshu sir, आप इधर
Yeah.
very
we have,
nice. This thing are well
yes.
thought. Very nice.
Yeah. Sir is already there. V.V. Laxminarayana sir is already there. Madam is director of Hindi Vidya Prachar
Good evening,
Samiti.
sir.
Director.
Good evening, ma'am. Yeah.
Institute.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, and welcome to Junjunwala College.
Yes, thank you.
You all make the country very proud, and because of you all, we are very safe.
Yes.
So absolutely no words. भगवान से बहुत बहुत आपके लिए प्रार्थना है कि आप लोगों को लंबी आयु दे और बहुत अच्छा हेल्थ दे. हम यही कह सकते हैं आपके लिए. एक मिनट प्रिंसिपल सर भी जुड़े हुए हैं. एक मिनट सर.
Yeah.
Hello, madam. Good evening, madam, and good evening, sir. Sir, thank you for being with us today. In our own little way, we try and give to the students the best, whether it is pandemic or no pandemic. And as a head of the institution, I'm very proud to say that my faculty of each department is so motivated and so focused. And any thoughts shared with them, they translate it into reality and make it possible for the students. UGC mandate of 9 points, which one is Mulya Pravaha. It was the only sentence that I shared with Amit madam and with her team. She took a couple of meetings. She revisited the whole curriculum. She made it possible to incorporate modules in the syllabus. And I think somebody who has given life for the betterment of the city, for the betterment of the country, someone like you, sir, makes it more real, more motivating, and more appealing to our students. So kudos to Amit madam and her team, and heartfelt thank you to you, sir, for accepting this invitation and being with us today evening. I'm sure students, it's an opportunity for you where a memorable evening is just waiting around the corner. So thank you once again, everybody, for inviting me here. Due to network issue, we couldn't join earlier. Madam had to send a reminder.
Yeah.
But it's always a pleasure to be around, madam.
Thank you.
So
Thank
much.
you, sir.
Thanks,
Thank you so much. Vaishakhi madam, shall we
Yes.
start with the program?
Yes. Good evening to one and all present here. Today, on the eve of completion of the 71st Republic Day of our beloved country, India, Hindi Vidya Prachar Samiti's Ram Niranjan Jhunjhunwala College Foundation Course Department extends warm greeting and a very warm welcome to all of you and to our special guest of today's function, Mr. V.V. Laxminarayana, who was the former additional DGP, Maharashtra, and will be speaking on human values and human rights. We also welcome our Honorable Director of Hindi Vidya Prachar Samiti, Dr. Usha Mukundan, Principal Sir Dr. Himanshu Dawda, and all Vice Principals and respected teachers and dear students. I see this period of 71 years of progress and struggle that we have achieved and endured. A period that has seen famines, riots, bomb blasts, terror attacks, economic disasters, emergencies, tsunami, pandemic, and so on. Yet, more than 1 billion of us lives with a hope in our eyes and the same Indian. On this occasion, our honorable guest is going to speak on human rights and human values, which calls in to ensure that people have basic needs met, allow people to stand up for societal corruption, encourage freedom of speech and expression, and practice their religion, provided a universal standard that holds government accountable, and so many. Values in life are equally important to make the society behave ethically, build characters, and help in giving a right direction to the way of working in society. Today's talk is on this interesting theme, which will motivate our students to walk on this right path in the right way. Now, I request Dr. Amita Valmiki, head of the Department of Philosophy as well as FC, to introduce the guest. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Vaishaki madam, I would like madam to speak a few words on human values. Madam, you are there? Hello? Madam?
Very much there.
Yeah, please, madam. Can you just a few words on human values?
I think, Amit,
yeah,
human beings don't exist if there are no values.
Absolutely.
If I were to put it in one sentence,
yes,
the very existence, you are living only if you have values.
Yes, absolutely.
And that you have to ask yourself that question.
Yes.
And
yes.
if you are, जो बोलते हैं ना, आपके अंदर की जो है आत्मा,
yes.
अगर आपको सही बोलती है ना, तो आप जिंदा हो.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, without values, I don't think we can call anyone as a human being.
Absolutely.
So, and I also welcome Shri Laxminarayana ji once again. And sir, for you all, I think every single day is a testing time. But still you all stand tall because jitna sona आग में तपता है उतना वो सुनहरा हो जाता है. तो सिर्फ इतना ही कहूंगी आपके लिए. और हिंदी विद्या प्रचार समिति में झुंझुनवाला कॉलेज में आपका स्वागत है. थैंक यू अमित for arranging this talk, and I'm listening to him.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, madam. Thank you, Director madam, and thank you, Dr. Vaishaki Datta, for introducing the theme of today's talk. Mahatma Gandhi said, "Keep your thoughts positive, because your thoughts become your words. Keep your words positive, because your words become your behavior. Keep your behavior positive, because your behavior becomes your habits. Keep your habits positive, because your habits become your values. Keep your values positive, because your values become your destiny." Dalai Lama says, in order to lead a meaningful life, you need to cherish others, pay attention to human values, and try to cultivate inner peace. As just now, Madam spoke. Respected Chief Guest, Mr. V.V. Laxminarayan, Principal Dr. Himanshu Tavda, Director of the Institute, Dr. Usha Mukundan, and dear participants, it was on the suggestion of our Honorable Vice Chancellor of University of Mumbai, Professor Suhas Pidnekar, that we introduced in F5 Foundation course Human Values with Human Rights. That is a dire necessity of contemporary times, as it has always been in past too. And today we have a fitting personality to talk on human values and human rights. Friends, it gives me great pleasure and I feel honored to introduce Mr. V.V. Laxminarayan. In fact, this is a brief introduction on internet, his contribution to social upliftment and work done for the subalterns runs in pages. Mr. Vasagiri Venkata Laxminarayan is qualified Indian Police Service of 1990 batch, Maharashtra cadre. He is a polymath who took voluntary retirement in April 2018 to serve the nation through social work in disparate areas. His educational qualification comprises of B.Tech, Mechanical Engineering from NIT, Warangal, Andhra Pradesh, M.Tech, Mechanical Engineering from IIT Chennai. Previous postings had been Superintendent of Police, Gadchiroli, Nanded and Pune, Commandment State Reserve Police Force, Pune, DCP, Mumbai and Pune, DIG, Anti-Terrorism Squad, Mumbai, Joint Director, CBI, Hyderabad, Joint Commissioner of Police, Thane, ADGP, Administration, ADGP, Planning and Coordination. His medals comprises of Internal Security Medal, Government of India, Hard Duty Medal, Government of Maharashtra, Police Medal for Meritorious Service, Government of India in 2006, President's Police Medal for Distinguished Services in 2017. His award, Mahatma Gandhi Peace Award, presented by Maharashtra State Minority Commission for outstanding work done for the maintenance of peace and communal harmony. His activities, it is mind-blowing and very spellbinding. Donated blood 58 times, got 15,000 saplings planted, interacted with 25 lakh youth as active member of the Lead India, an initiative of our former president, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, adopted a village in Mehboob Nagar and brought significant changes, adopted a tribal school in village Bhinar near Bhiwandi, adopted village in kidney disease affected Srikakulam district of Andhra Pradesh, adopted village Sitarampuram in Vijayanagaram district of Andhra Pradesh, started Joint for Development Foundation that concentrates on farmers, youth of rural India. Mr. Laxminarayana has brought a perfect synthesis and amalgamation of a precept and practice in his life, and we are honored to have him today as our chief guest. Mr. V.V. Laxminarayana, I request you to present your talk, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good evening to all of you, the director of the institute and also the principal, and also the faculty, especially Dr. Amita Valmiki ji and other faculty who are there on the panel, and also all the dear students who are attending this through the YouTube direct live. In fact, Dr. Kalam always used to tell us, whenever you have time, go and be with the future of the nation. That is the usual thing he used to tell us. So wherever the youth is there, you try to go and meet them and also try to find out their vision or their understanding about the country. And also in the process, you also get a lot of knowledge and also their way of thinking. So that is how, as ma'am said, I have almost interacted with about 25 lakh youth so far. And my day starts with going to a school or a college. This is my regular this thing. And also, I am also a student of University of Mumbai. Actually, I am pursuing my PhD with the University of Mumbai in the Rural Development Department. Actually, what I am doing is, my title of my PhD thesis is to study the model villages in the country and to see how all villages can be made model villages. So actually, if you see, there are only few villages which we call them as model villages, like Ralegaon Siddhi, where Anna Hazaraji sits, like our Popatrao Pawarji's place, Hivre Bazar, and there are so many such villages in the nation. My endeavor is to see that, is it because of an individual the villages are becoming model villages, or is it because of the systems? Suppose if you want to make all the villages model villages, then what template should be developed and what is the methodology we should adopt? So that is how I am working on this particular project. So I always say one has to be a student throughout his life. So then you can be able to pick up so many things. And also tomorrow, as ma'am mentioned, we are celebrating the Republic Day. And also it's a very, very important day in our life because India was declared a republic on the Republic Day. And also we have adopted the constitution, and the supremacy of the constitution needs to be maintained. So this is a mandate to one and all. For all of us, the ultimate, the supreme document, if it is anything is there, that is the Constitution of India. So maybe you may be from arts background, or maybe you are pursuing your science or commerce. Constitution becomes a common subject. So my request to all students is keep referring to Constitution. And in the newspapers also, several articles come about various issues that are happening. and everything is related to the Constitution of India. Say, for example, the farmers' agitation that is going on the borders of Delhi. Again, you have a constitutional aspect in it. That means whether agriculture is a state subject or a central subject. Whether central can enact legislations if the subject is in the state list. So all these various issues that are happening in the country or maybe in the Supreme Court and the High Court, they always have a relevance to the Constitution. So whenever you read the newspaper, always correlate with the Constitution so that you can understand the Constitution, and also in the process you can see the life in a better perspective. So this is my initial request to all the students. So today I have been asked to develop on the topic of human values and human rights. Human values and human rights. So this is a very typical topic, because in the Constitution you have the human rights, and in other epics and other books which we refer, human values are prescribed. So how to balance between these two? And if you have human values in you, there won't be anybody who will be violating the human rights. So then human rights becomes a normal course of things. So because somebody is violating the human rights, that you can always conclude that those people who are violating the human rights or respect of the other people, they do not have the human values. So if the entire society is with people with human values, then this, entrenching on the human rights of somebody doesn't arise. So how to develop such type of individuals in the society, that is the target. And also I have been told that this particular course has been named as the foundation course. For any building, foundation is very, very important. If you have a solid foundation, you can construct as many floors or as many levels as possible, because in Mumbai we see 30, 40 floors of buildings. Why? Because the foundation is good. So in the same manner, for a human being, if the foundation is good, you can build on that foundation and you can become the best. So this course has been aptly named as the foundation, because when we joined the civil services also, the course which we attend in Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy of Administration in Mussoorie is also called the foundation course. So this is where we learn the Constitution, and we learn various things like public administration, political science, all those very economics. All these things are taught to us in a span of about 4 months. So that when we come out of the institution and when we look at India, you have some introduction about various issues so that you can develop on it and you can dwell upon it. In this similar manner, I'm extremely happy that the Vice Chancellor of Mumbai University has thought of this, Pednekar sir, and also he has started implementing this foundation course, and also the zeal and enthusiasm with which the faculty is pursuing this foundation is wonderful. If you see the national education policy also, which has been recently released, it also talks about holistic individuals. It is not that your job is to pass the examinations, but you should become the best citizen of the nation. You need to have introduction in various topics, and you should do a multidisciplinary learning. That is the most important thing. Otherwise, of late, what used to happen is you used to concentrate only on the topics which are there in your curriculum, and also we used to pass the examination. But actually, if you see the market, many people, because I am also an engineer, the NASCOM says that 85% of the engineers who are coming out of the institution, they are not fit for employment. This is what the report says. Because it's a stereotype way of learning, and also you do not have any interaction with other subjects. So now the national education policy sums it up, and it says the purpose of education is to see that a right kind of person comes out, and also his skills are developed, and also he develops so many other skills so that when he comes out of the portals of the institution, he will become fit for being a citizen of the nation, and he can give the best to the nation. So that is the purpose. With the same purpose, this foundation course is also introduced here. So let me come to my topic. Actually, you have the physical strength and you have the mental strength. Which is more important? I always say your mental strength is always more, or it is more important than the physical strength. Because if you have the tenacity and you have the mindset, and you have a very good mental strength, then you can achieve anything. I just quote Edmund Hillary. When he was trying to scale Mount Everest along with Tenzing Norgay, actually they kept on trying to scale Mount Everest, but several times they failed. And it was, I think, almost the 20th time which they were about to scale Mount Everest, and there was some issue and they had to come back to the base camp. He was so furious. He was so furious that he could not climb. And he came to the base camp and he started looking at Mount Everest and he started telling, "You are a rock. You can't grow. I am a human being. I can grow. One day I'll grow and I'll conquer you." This is what he tells the rock, that is Mount Everest. And in the very next attempt, he scales Mount Everest along with Tenzing Norgay. So this clearly talks about the strength of the mental power, or the power of the mind. So power of the mind is very important than the physical strength that you need to do. And there is another strength which is very important for an individual. This is called intellectual strength, Atma Shakti. That is very, very important. Actually, if you see, Atma Shakti is more important than your mental strength also. So you have the Atma Shakti or the intellectual strength, then you have the mental strength, and finally you have the physical strength. So if you don't have the physical strength or mental strength, also, if it is okay, if you do not have so much of this thing, they can be recouped. These strengths can be recouped through your intellectual strength. So if you have the Atma Shakti with you, then even if you have lesser physical strength and also lesser mental strength, you can always make it up. But if your intellectual strength is not there, or if a race loses this intellectual strength, then it is very difficult to save this particular race. So intellectual strength or Atma Shakti is very, very important. This intellectual strength gets generated by following what is known as the human values. So if you follow the human values, you get the best intellectual strength. The moment your intellectual strength or the Atma Shakti improves, then you have the best mental strength and you also have the best physical strength. Even if you don't have those two also, with this Atma Shakti, you can always conquer. So human values are very, very important if you want to improve your Atma Shakti. Right from Rig Veda till the modern literature has shown the meaning and purpose of human life. And they proposed human values are very, very important and they are meant to make the
Hello,
life.
sir. There's no sound. Sorry, sir.
There is no sound, ma'am? Yeah.
No, there is, ma'am. Ma'am, sound is
there. Am I audible now, ma'am?
Hello.
There is a sound.
Yeah. Am I audible, sir?
No, you are audible, sir. You're audible.
Yeah, maybe, ma'am.
Yeah. Now it is fine.
Settings.
Now it is. Yeah.
I was telling right from Rig Veda till the modern literature has shown the meaning and purpose of life, and they proposed human values also, which are meant to make the life sacred. So what is the difference between God and a man? That also we need to discuss. We go to the place of worship, maybe depending on your religion, and we always keep praying the God that give me something. So a man is one who always asks the God to give something, and God is one who gives something to you. So from the stage of asking, if you move to the stage of giving, then you can also transform from a human to a godly or a divinely character. So how you can move from the state of asking to the state of giving. So that is where if you inculcate the human values, then you can also change your stature. From a human being, you can become a divine human being. So this is the fundamental thing, what we need about the human values. So let me talk about the USP of the nations. You all know, because youngsters of late, you always talk about what is your USP. USP is the unique selling proposition. I mean, somebody asks, sir, what is your USP? Or some nation, what is the USP? Let me talk about the USP of different nations. Let us take America, United States of America, because this has been in news. We have been watching how Joe Biden is going to take over and whether Trump is going to permit him to take over as the president, or whether he will be allowed inside the White House. All these things we have been discussing. So actually, if you see United States of America, after taking over, Joe Biden On the first day, he has taken about 17 decisions. I mean, if you have read the newspaper, most of the things decisions he has taken were concerning to the people who are living in the country, like their immigration. And also, Trump did not allow people to come from 7 different countries to the United States of America. All these restrictions which he had put on the human beings, so all these things have been removed. And also, they have again joined the WHO, and they have again joined the Paris Convention on the Environment. So all these things have been done. So if you analyze all these things, the USP of America, if you analyze, it is always to see that people there are comfortable. The rights, the human rights of the citizens of USA becomes paramount for USA. So this is the USP of America. Let us come to UK. There, if you see what is the USP of UK, you always see or study, they always say that the power or the authority of the Queen has to be retained. So the power of Queen becomes the paramount thing for UK. Now let us come to India. So what is the USP of our nation? The USP of our nation is spirituality. Spirituality is the USP of our nation. So that we need to understand. What is spirituality? Spirituality is finding the God in you and finding the God in others also. So that is what is meant by spirituality. Many people get confused of the spirituality. So that means going to the temple or doing prayers and all. That is called bhakti. Actually, if you see spirituality or adhyatmikata, what you call, so that is to see God in each and every individual. The moment you see God in each and every individuals, you will not be committing any violations. Because if you use force on somebody else, it is on the God you are going to use the force. If you want to snatch away somebody's property, it is the property of the God which you are snatching away. So these were the basic foundations on which the Indian culture has been built. That is the spirituality. So the moment you go away from this USP, then trouble is going to come. So if you open the newspapers today, what you are seeing, the type of news, what you are reading every day is a clear indication that we are moving away from the USP. The type of crime that is committing, the type of atrocities that are being perpetrated. If you read all these things, I mean, you get a pinch. You always feel what's happening. What is happening? So what is happening is we are moving away from the USP. So the purpose is to get back to our USP. If all the individuals in the nation, they orient themselves towards the USP of the nation, then the nation is going to flourish. Because we all want to become Vishwaguru. Because of the COVID, of the pandemic, the world also realized the USP of India. The USP of India, people have come to know. That's why if you see, when the COVID has started initially, the President of America, the President of Brazil, they wrote letters to the Prime Minister of our nation. I mean, in that what they mentioned, they mentioned Laxmana has fainted. We need Sanjeevani from India. This is what they mentioned in their letters because they wanted hydroxychloroquine from our nation. Then our country, what they did is, they did not see whether we have the stocks of hydroxychloroquine for our people. But if somebody is asking, as I mentioned, somebody is asking as a human, your nature is to become God. That means your nature is to give. So immediately the hydroxychloroquine has been transported or has been sent to all these places, including China, we have sent. So this is India. So this is the USP of India. That is basically because of the human values or the USP of spirituality which we have in this nation. So my first and most point I need to make here is, it is the spirituality. I am not talking about any religion. I am talking about the spirituality. You may be of any religion, but spirituality is spirituality, finding your God in you and finding God in other people. So if this basic is there, then the whole issue is going to be sorted out. There won't be any violation of human rights. Actually, if you see the history of the world, I mean, during the world wars or when the emperors or the autocrats, they ruled the world or the nations. So they started committing a lot of human right violations because the considerations there shown were the race, or religion, caste, or other things. So these were the prime important things which they have given importance, and they started committing atrocities. That is how, if you see so many wars and so many things, it is only after the Second World War, all the nations thought they should come together and they should have a code of conduct. That is how the United Nations has come into being, and United Nations has started declaring so many things like the Universal Charter of Human Rights and all. This is how human rights has come into the being. I mean, of course, America had their own declaration of human rights when America became a democracy or a republic. So, on a world front, if you see, you have the Union Declaration of Human Rights, and also, if you see our constitution also specifically talks about the human rights. And also, more so, it doesn't call it as human right, it calls it as fundamental rights. So, as Lobo sir was mentioning, it is about the fundamental rights, what you have, Article 14 onwards, if you see, there are a lot of things, right to equality, right to freedom of religion, maybe right to expression, right to life and liberty. There are so many fundamental rights which have been enshrined in the Constitution, so that becomes supreme. When there is a conflict, always Constitution takes the precedence. So whatever is told in the Constitution, that becomes the paramount thing, and the courts also are supposed to interpret the thing as per the Constitution, and they should say whether it is a violation of the fundamental rights or not. So this is what the human values are in our epics, and also in our literature, and also in our so many documents. The human values are said, because once you have the intellectual strength in you, then automatically you are at a very higher pedestal, so that there will be happiness in the society, there will be peace in the society, there will be harmony in the society. What is the purpose of life? Purpose of life is to see that you live happily, and you always wait for the next day. You should not think that somehow we have passed this day, we don't know how the next day is going to be. That is not life. Life is actually, you should look forward for the day to come, That is life. This is called happiness. Actually, students, if you see, there is what is known as the happiness index that has been measured in all the countries. Every year, the happiness index figures are declared. But unfortunately, if you see the happiness index of our nation, somehow we are trailing behind. Actually, I think we are at 140. Out of the 164 countries, we are at 140 as far as the happiness index is concerned. There are about 6 to 7 parameters which are seen to evaluate this happiness index, like your per capita income, the education, the health, and also the expression what you can give. I mean, whether you can boldly tell the society your feelings, and also you want to express it freely. And how many people in the society are backing you, or how many people in the society are going to come to you, and also what type of relations you have. All these, there are about 6-7 parameters. You can always see the internet, and you can see what happiness index. So we are at 140. We have African countries, few of the African countries, and Afghanistan after us. So the basic reason for this is we are moving away from our USP. So if you want to see that the nation is happy, or you are happy, or your place is happy, you have to bring back this USP, that is the spirituality, or in effect, it is the human values. So human values needs to be ingrained. Generally, values are caught, values are not taught. So that's why the values have to be, the children have to be made to take these values or catch these values through the parents and through the teaching faculty, and also from the society. So this is the paramount importance. So the human values are nothing but the Indian culture, I always, and Indian traditions. Indian culture and Indian tradition is nothing but the human values. So if you want to learn about the human values, you always need to see Indian tradition and Indian culture. There are 4 types of values which have been there. First one is called hereditary values. That means these are the values which have been passed over to the generation by the previous generation. So I'll quote few of them. First one is respect to the parents. This is the first hereditary value which has been sent or which has been handed over. Next is respect toward teachers. Next is respect towards the Almighty. Then doing the duty with utmost sincerity. This is called Trikarana Shuddhi. Next is devotion to the duty, Karma Nishta. Next is doing the duty with utmost sincerity. I said Trikarana Shuddhi. Doing the duty without expecting the results. Many people say that suppose if I take a decision, mostly in the police department, somebody thinks, suppose if I take a decision, I may be displeasing the politicians, so they may transfer me. All these things many people consider. So this is not Nishkama Pravritti. It is called, you are always bothered about what is going to happen to you if you take a decision. This is not the human value taught by India. Indian human values or the human values always say, do your duty without expecting anything. So that is another thing. Then fulfilling the responsibilities. I, as a civil servant, I am supposed to fulfill my responsibility. You, as a student, you have to fulfill your responsibilities. Faculty, they have to fulfill their responsibility. This is basically a human value. If you don't fulfill your responsibility, then you are moving away from the basic USP of the nation. So this is the, and keeping up the promises. That is Kartavya Palan. Kartavya Palan is also very important. Because if you see in elections, a lot of people come and give a lot of promises, but they don't fulfill. They don't fulfill. So they are not following the Kartavya Palan. So that is another human value. And as I mentioned, keeping up the promises and good behavior. That is Sat Pravartan. That is also very important. Then commitment. That is called Karya Diksha. And concentration. That is Shraddha. And friendly attitude and friendly nature. That is Sneha Sila. So these are the qualities which they are supposed to be hereditary values. That means you have to transform from one generation to other. I mean, it is not just sufficient if you just follow it, and if you don't transfer it, that is also not correct. Because all these values, if the elders are following, automatically the youngsters will catch them. So it is the responsibility on the elders to see that all these things which I have mentioned as the hereditary values need to be passed on. It is not just writing on a paper and passing it on. No, it is we have to practice, and the people around us have to watch us, and they imbibe these things with them so that they can pass it on to the next generation. So this is another concept of human values which we need to do. Now, the second, yeah, hello? Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir, you're audible. We keep the questions in the end, please, or type the questions in the chat box, please. Okay? Yeah. Continue, sir.
Yeah. Next thing is, next class of human values are the intellectual values. As I was mentioning, that intellectual strength is very, very important. For that, you need to have intellectual values. First, intellectual value, what you need to have is the empathy. Empathy. Other one is the patience. You need to have a lot of patience. Of late, you see people who do not have much patience. So, this is second thing is, you should not be jealous. That is another these things. And then you need to be clean. That is cleanliness. And always thinking about good of something. So these are some of the things which we call it as intellectual values. So you have hereditary values, you have intellectual values. Through these intellectual values, you are actually responding to the demands of the society. That is important. The third type of human values, you can classify them as societal values. Values of the society or values towards the betterment of the society. So what are these values if you see? First one is religious tolerance. The second one is helping nature. The third one is the unity. Next one is when you talk, it should be appealing to the others. You should not be very harsh. I mean, you should talk in such a way that your points will go to the people and they will also respond. In the process, there is a cohesion in the society. Next one is having good company. This is called satsang. Actually, students, you all should learn. I mean, the type of company you keep is very important. And also the type of friends you select, that is also very important. Read a book called You Are Unique by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, in which he beautifully writes, I mean, what are the 4 steps you have to take if you want to acquire knowledge? He says there are 4 things. First thing is respect your parents, respect your teachers, make good friendships, and read good books. This is what Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir used to tell us. So if these 4 things are followed, then always a student or somebody will prosper in his life, and also he will become an impactful person, and also he will become a person whom other wants to follow. He becomes a role model. So this is thing. So that's why I said the company you keep is very, very important. So that's why satsang is very important. Then your vision is very important. So for these are the societal values. You should have a vision about the society. You should not be just thinking about yourself or your family. You should be thinking about the society, and the next stage is the nation. So you need to have a vision that is called Duradrishti. And finally, you need to have self-control, Mano Nigraha. This is also very important. Self-control is very, very important. There are so many things which will be coming and hitting you. There are so many things which are around you, which are trying to pull you. There are so many things in circulation which create tremendous impact on you. But the value which will control you, or which controls you in not getting sucked into those things, is your self-control. So if the people in the society have the self-control, then the society will be very good. The society will be excellent. So these are the societal values which we need to incorporate, or we need to inculcate. And finally, the personal values are the human values, personal values. If you see, first one is speaking the truth. Satya Vakpalana, it is called. The second one is the integrity. Integrity is very, very important. If you read the book Professional by Subrato Bagchi, he always says, if you don't have the integrity, you can never become a professional. Professional is not just in getting a degree. I mean, somebody has become an engineer, somebody has become a chartered accountant, or somebody has become a medical practitioner. They are all professions. But if you want to become professional, the first quality what you need to have is the integrity. That means you have to live within the means, and you should not unduly expect anything, and you should perform your duty to the best of your ability. This is what is called integrity. Next is peace. You should have a peaceful mind. Always you should think in a peaceful atmosphere. Then you need to have love. You need to love the people around you. You need to love the society, and you need to love the nation. This is what is called Desh Bhakti or Desh Prem, we call. Next is non-violence, ahimsa. So I categorize the human values or the intellectual strength what you need to have in these 4 terms. First one is the hereditary values. The second one is called the intellectual values. The third one is the societal values. And finally, it is the personal values. So anybody practicing these things, he is going to become the asset of the nation. Because the country or the nation is full of youth. Almost 65% of the population is the youth. And by 2025, 75% of the people are going to be below 29 years in this nation. So we are all trying to become Vishwaguru. So if you want to go in this direction, we are always talking about the demographic dividend. We are all depending on the youngsters to steer the nation to a higher pedestal. So it is just not the strength that is going to matter, but it is the quality of the individuals who are going to be there in the nation that is very, very important. So if you can incorporate, or if you can have the values which I have mentioned, definitely India is going to become the best nation. We were, and we are going to be, and we will. So all of us, let us come together, and we can always make the nation great. So that is how I always say. Next, so that is the first part. It is human values. Suppose if the entire society is full of people with these human values, you need not have to talk about the human rights or the human right violation also. But now in the present circumstances, what we have, we need to know about the human rights also. Because if you see the history of India also, there were a lot of things, lot of atrocities which have been committed because of some practices, like sati. And also if you see the girls were not allowed to get educated. So it is Savitribai Phule who came and she has revolutionized the entire system. So there were a lot of people who had come on and off and they tried to see that the atrocities or the oppressions of certain people are removed. So that means what basically they did is they tried to restore the human rights of people. So actually human rights, where do you find? If you read the constitution, you don't find the word human rights. Actually, if you see, there is an act called the Protection of Human Rights Act, 1993. In that, if the concept of human rights has come. So according to that act, the Protection of Human Rights Act 1993, human rights means rights relating to life, liberty, equality, and dignity of the individuals. So these are called the human rights. The right to life, right to liberty, right to equality, and right to dignity of the individuals as guaranteed by the Constitution or embodied in the international covenants and enforceable by the courts in India. So this is what is the definition of human rights. So the rights relating to life, liberty, equality, and dignity of the individual as guaranteed by the Constitution. So it is the prime importance for any administrative wing to ensure that the citizens of this nation, they enjoy these rights. And nobody will be trying to pressurize somebody, or nobody is trying to deprive the human beings from these rights. It is the responsibility of the legislature, it is the responsibility of the executive, and ultimately it is the responsibility of the judiciary to see that these human rights are practiced and these human rights are not violated. So this is very, very important. So the important thing, as Mr. Lobo was mentioning, these are almost equal to the fundamental rights. So if you read the fundamental rights in the Constitution right from Article 14, then they talk about various human rights that have been, various fundamental rights that have been enshrined in the Constitution or mentioned in the Constitution, which every citizen should have. Every citizen should have. So these are the rights which are being ensured by the external forces, and the human values, what I talked about, are the human values which individual develop intrinsically. So these are the eccentric values or from the exteriors or from the administrator. These are the things which need to be ensured, and human values are the things which need to be inculcated. So there need to be a balance between them. So if you have more and more human values, the violation of human rights will reduce. If there are less and less human values, more and more human right violation will be there. So if you want to ensure that people in the nation are happy and whatever is enshrined in the Constitution, it needs to be implemented, the inculcation of the human values become important. Otherwise, the courts will be taking action, the police will be taking action. Ultimately, it leads to unhappiness in the society. That's why I'm telling the happiness index of the nation, we are at 140. So if you want to reduce this happiness index, that means if you want to make people more and more happy, so the inculcation of the human values is very important. So in this session, I will dwell upon right to life. This is a very, very important human right, which is there in the Constitution. Even the human rights also, the first mention is about the life. If you see Article 21 of the Constitution, it talks about protection of life and personal liberty. So protection of life and personal liberty is very, very important and the most important human right that is there. The Constitution says, no person shall be deprived of his life and personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. That means no person shall be deprived of life and his liberty except according to the procedure prescribed by law. So because life is very, very precious. Life is very, very precious in itself. But life is worth living because the freedoms which enable each individual to live life as it should be lived, that is important. Some people say, kuch to bhi chal raha hai, ji rahe hai. So these are the words many people use, but that is not the way one needs to live. One needs to spend his life with all the human rights and also with all the human values and also with utmost happiness. So life is precious in itself, as I mentioned, but life is worth living because the freedoms which enable each individual to live life as it should be lived. So these freedoms are very, very important. These freedoms are very, very important. Supreme Court in several judgments has interpreted what is right to life and what is personal liberty. Because this is the one thing which keeps affecting us day in and day out. So that's why in this session, I am going to dwell more upon this particular article of the Constitution, Article 21. So I'll quote some of the judgments of the Supreme Court which talked about what is protection of life and personal liberty. So once you know what is the protection of your life and personal liberty, then you start visualizing what life is, what the Supreme Court has talked about life and what we are living. What is the difference? If you find anywhere this particular protection of life and personal liberty is being infringed upon, as a citizen, you should wake up. Majority of these cases are defined by the Supreme Court when conscientious citizens have gone to the court. So if we all become conscientious citizens, then we can see that this protection of life and personal liberty, as mentioned in the Constitution, is actually practiced. So the first case which I want to refer to is the case of A.K. Gopalan versus State of Madras. It is somewhere happened in 1950. Because this particular thing is given on the preventive detention. Because this A.K. Gopalan was arrested because he is going to participate in some particular thing. So in order to see that that particular he doesn't go and participate in that, they make a preventive detention. When giving judgment in this particular case, the Supreme Court said, personal liberty means liberty of the physical body. Personal liberty includes right to sleep. So the protection of life or life means it includes liberty of the physical body and also right to sleep, right to eat. So your right to life includes these things. So physical body, liberty of the physical body, right to sleep and right to eat, that you should understand. So life includes this also. In another case, that is Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India, that is given in 1978. It is called right to travel. That means the right to life or protection to life and liberty also includes right to travel. So personal liberty includes right to travel because her passport was important at that time and she was not allowed to go outside. Then she approached the Supreme Court and Supreme Court struck it down. They said life includes personal liberty, which includes right to travel. Then there is another case which is very, very important. You should know about this. This Occupational Health and Safety Association, it had gone to the Supreme Court in the year 2014. There, the Supreme Court mentioned right to life means right to live with human dignity. Actually, these people are, they are the workers. They are working in different establishments. So the Supreme Court said, the Constitution has given the protection of life and liberty. Life includes human dignity. So the establishment should create and provide just humane conditions. Government should protect workers from dangerous or unhygienic working conditions. This is what the Supreme Court said. So if you see any such things happening, you can always raise this particular thing and you should ensure that those unhygienic things are removed and hygienic surroundings are given. So life includes this also. Then there is another case from Mumbai only. It is called Olga Tellis versus Bombay Municipal Corporation. This is also another important judgment. This pertaining to the slum dwellers. Actually, some slum dwellers, they encroached upon some of the lands in Mumbai, and the Bombay Municipal Corporation was removing the encroachment. So they approached the Supreme Court, but Supreme Court found that the action being taken by the BMC is correct, but at the same time they said, because they have come here, see that some rehabilitation has been done. Now, all of a sudden, you can't remove them, especially in the monsoon, and you see that they are properly rehabilitated. So this is another thing wherein your slum reorganization scheme has come, and wherein a lot of people have been removed from the slums, because you need human dignity. When you are living, you need to live with dignity. So the slum rehabilitation project has been taken up, and many people have been shifted. So that is another thing. The another thing what you need to understand is right to health and medical assistance. This is another right to life. Because one person by name Katara, he met with an accident and he was taken to the hospital. But the hospital people said, this is a medico-legal case. Until the police come, we don't take up the matter. So the whole process got delayed. So he moved the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court held, it is the obligation of all the medical professionals to give immediate health assistance to all the patients without being put under any legal impediment. So that's why after that thing, if anything goes or somebody goes to the hospital authority should not question. You wait for the police to come around. They are supposed to give the medical assistance. So the Supreme Court said a right to life includes a right to health and medical assistance also. Next, the another case which you all should know is Ram Leela Maidan versus Home Secretary. This has happened in 2012. This happened with our Ramdev Baba. Actually, he conducted a yoga shibir there, and that yoga shibir was conducted in Ram Leela Maidan, and he converted that into a hunger strike against black money and corruption. You know, during Anna Hazare time and all, Ram Leela Maidan, Baba Ramdev was organizing this yoga meet, and he subsequently converted into a place of demonstration against black money and corruption. In the night, suddenly the CRPF Jawans, they came and they started disturbing the people in order to catch Ramdev Baba. You all know how he escaped from that. He changed his costumes and he ran away from there. So that time, this case was registered. Somebody has gone to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, if any person's sleep is disturbed without any reasonable justification, it amounts to torture and violation of human rights. So the Supreme Court said, protection of life and personal liberty includes right to sleep. So includes right to sleep. Suppose if somebody is disturbing your sleep, maybe by putting a big DJ or by putting a big sound system, this is not the protection of life and liberty as enshrined in the Constitution and as interpreted by the Supreme Court. You can always quote this. When you complain to the police, you can complain this also. See, the Supreme Court has said right to sleep is the one of the matters in the right to personal liberty. Now, two more things I'll tell and I'll conclude it here. Next is right to privacy. Right to privacy is also very, very important. Supreme Court in Katina of judgments has mentioned about this right to privacy. The first case you should say, this particular case is Mr. X versus Hospital Z. This happened in 1998. What happened in this case is, this particular X was found with HIV and his test result was disclosed by the hospital without the consent of the patient. Then Supreme Court came down heavily and they said, such disclosure will affect the privacy and life of the patient. So then they mentioned right to privacy is very important. It is part of Article 21. Similarly, telephone tapping is another thing where it affects your right to privacy. I mean, if somebody is, taps your phone, your right to privacy is affected. Now the WhatsApp coming up with the disclosures, there is a lot of halla gulla and people are switching over to this thing, Signal and Telegram and all these things, because everybody is bothered about the right to privacy. So in the similar manner, this telephone tapping was also discussed and the Supreme Court said, Telephone interception can be done only by specific top government official only when it is necessary, and it should not exceed a total of 6 months. So, right to privacy has become very, very important. It is part of your right to life and personal liberty. Final judgment, which is of very recent, that is 2015, it is called Justice K.S. Puttaswamy versus Union of India, where he questioned the authenticity of taking the fingerprints for this Aadhaar card. So there, the Supreme Court said, Aadhaar card is a violation of right to privacy as biometric readings are taken. This is what the Mr. Puttaswamy has made. But Supreme Court said, right to privacy is a fundamental and part of Article 21. But they allowed Aadhaar card to go. But at the same time, right to privacy has been made a fundamental right, and it is part of Article 21. Why I have dwelt with this subject is, this is very, very crucial as far as the human rights are concerned. So, right, protection of life and personal liberty is going to be primemost or very, very important things. So, as students, you should not think just Article 21 is the protection of life and liberty. It is mentioned in 2 sentences, but the Supreme Court and the High Courts, they keep on interpreting the law day to day. So, as students, if you can develop interest in that, once you know what rights you have, then you can always fight for them. So, on one side, we need to inculcate the human values. On the other side, you should know what are the human rights you have. And if somebody is trying to infringe upon these human rights, how to protect yourself, that also you should know. And may not be your rights. If the rights of somebody is being affected, then also you should intervene as a responsible citizen. So these human values and human rights, they are on the 2 sides of the balance. But I always say, if more and more human values are inculcated, then the violation of human rights are going to be reduced. So this foundation course, what has been started in the institution, has to strive to see that more and more human values are there in the students and also everybody in the society, so that the violation of human rights are reduced. Once the violation of human rights are reduced, there is going to be more happiness. So life becomes joyful, life becomes happier. Then your happiness index, where we are at 140, we can always try to improve upon. So my sincere request to this thing, and also I appreciate the institute for starting this foundation course and also discussing such topics which are of very much relevant to the students, not only students, to each and everyone, because we are moving away from the USP of the nation, that is the spirituality, that is the human values. So that's why initially itself I mentioned, once you are away from your human values, even if you have your physical strength, even if you have your mental strength, if you don't have your intellectual strength, that race is going to go out. So if you want to retain the race and also retain the best of the race in the nation, our job is to inculcate human values. So try to learn, try to pick up from somebody and you emulate them. So don't allow these bad things to come. Bad things, they circulate very fast. Even in this, your WhatsApp or in your YouTube also. If somebody makes controversial things, they move very fast. But if some positive contribution is being made somewhere, it takes a lot of time. So students, you need to decide the priorities, what you should watch, what you should pick up. There are so many things. It is like the TV antenna. The TV antenna picks up only TV signals. It doesn't pick up the telephone signals. It filters. Similarly, your antenna also should decide what to take and what to take it in your thought process and how you should behave. And also it is very difficult. People always will try to pull your leg if you want to do in a straightforward manner, because we have found in our this thing also. But always swimming against this tide gives you a lot of strength. Swimming along the stream, it is very easy. Just you get dropped and the stream will take you away. But if you want to stand as an individual, you should be able to swim against this tide. It gives you a lot of strength. And also, you will have a lot of satisfaction in your life. Yes, I have lived a life wherein I am very, very satisfied. and I could become a role model. That type of thing you need to develop. So I request all these students to go through these things. Whatever came to my mind, I thought I'll just discuss with you. And I always tell children, because many of the students, they come and ask me, sir, what should be our goals? How to set the goals? Dr. Kalam said, you have 3 goals to set. And before that, I will tell you. Because we used to interact with them in our Lead India, these things. So he used to tell me, Laxminarayana, of late I am seeing a lot of students wearing t-shirts with New York written on it, with Los Angeles written on it, with London written on it, and the students are moving in the campus. I want students of Los Angeles. I want students of New York. I want students of London wearing t-shirts with Bharat, India written on it. So that is the stage we should take our nation to that level. Yes, that is possible. If we can all come together and if you can practice, then a day is not far away wherein you can always achieve that. So about the 3 goals, I'll complete my talk. The first thing he always used to tell that, one day your parents should take you close and they should pat you and they should say, Sabash. Because of you, our family's name has improved in the society. The place from where we belong, that place has got some significance. So the nation has got recognition because of you. So that you should set it as the first goal. The second goal, he says, all the students of this institute, the Junjunwala Institute, one day you should go as a chief guest to your alma mater. The director and the principal should invite you to be the chief guest in your alma mater. So imagine that. Imagine that. The third thing Dr. Kalam always used to tell is, your signature should become autograph. Your signature should become, people should be waiting to take your autograph. So if you keep these 3 targets or goals in your life, that means automatically it is inculcating the human values, which is going to improve you. And in the process, it will reduce the violation of human rights and we all can live in a very happy society. So let's all hope the life which we are leading and the society in which we are living becomes more joyful and more happier. Let's all work for this on this Republic Day. Let us take this as a resolve that I'll try to inculcate as many human values as possible and I'll try to reform my life. In the process, I'll make my nation and my society more joyful and happy. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. It was such a fitting conclusion. The concluding remarks really made us celebrate Republic Day. And we have already started celebrating with your lovely talk. It really opened up vistas, of avenues, Yes, Vaishakhi madam, yes.
And students are also charged up, sir, because you have opened the Pandora box in front of them. They also think they are people who thinks, and there has been questions in the chat box. So can I request Dr. Reena Puratkar to take up the questions before?
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir, for your wonderful speech. It really, I can say that we are really motivated. We as a teacher and the student also. There are the question for you, sir. There's one question from our student, Sanjay. He says that in civil services, is there a need of value called fortitude? If yes, then how?
I mean, in the civil services, there was a break.
Civil services, is there a need of a value called fortitude? If yes, then how?
Yeah, actually, if you don't you don't have values in the civil services, that will be the most disservice somebody will be doing. Because the stakes are very high in civil services. Suppose if I sign a file, I will be signing crores of contract, say for example. Suppose if I don't have values and with some other consideration, if I take decisions, that is going to be detrimental to the society. So the prime most important thing for a civil servant is the values. So a civil servant without values is the most dangerous creature that we should understand. So values are very important for each individual, but at the same time, people at high positions, the values become more and more important. Maybe for our politicians, for our bureaucracy. So values are going to be very, very important. That's why if you see in civil services, recently they have introduced a paper called Ethics and Values. Earlier, when we wrote, that paper was not there. This inclusion has been in the recent past. So that means they want to understand the psyche of an individual at the right stage of examination itself. I mean, if they don't have the values which they are looking for, you can filter them right at the examination stage itself and subsequently at the interview stage. Otherwise, if people without values, they get into these important coveted posts, then it is going to be, I mean, our happiness index will be go further down. So that should not happen. So values are very, very important for everyone and especially for the people at high places. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, there is a next question for you from our student, Shambhu. He want to know that if there is a corruption in the police department, then how a person can able to stop the corruption, and how the values will be helpful to a person to stop the corruption.
Yeah. Corruption is a very, very dangerous thing. I mean, one prime minister said the corruption is more dangerous than terrorism. So at any cost, this corruption has to be curbed. Actually, I always say, if you want to control corruption, you have to remove the corruption for the people at the higher levels. I mean, imagine that you are cleaning a ladder. I mean, there is a ladder and you want to clean the ladder. Suppose if you start cleaning the ladder from the bottom, so you start cleaning it, and when you want to clean the top portion, you have to climb the ladder and you will be soiling the ladder. Suppose if you start cleaning the ladder from the top, you clean the top this thing and slowly come down, then by the time you come down, the entire ladder will be clean. So like that in corruption also, if you want to improve, you have to start from the top people. So if you can stop corruption in the top people, then automatically the corruption at the lower levels is going to be reduced. So I tell you one or two techniques. What I used to do is, I used to declare my phone number in the newspaper. Because wherever I was there, maybe as Joint Commissioner of Thane also, on the first day I took over, I mentioned that this is my mobile number. Any citizen, if there is any problem, they can contact me. So then automatically it percolates down that if we do some mischief, the senior formations are ready to receive the complaint. So this is the simple technique which I used to follow to reduce the corruption. No doubt it's a hardship because somebody at 2 o'clock will be calling you. But you are a public servant. You are a servant. That's what I always tell my people. We are not masters. We are servants of the people. That's why we are called public servants. So you should be available to the people around the clock and 365 days a day. So if these things, why I could do this, or I mean, it is not, I'm not boasting, because this is the atmosphere what I have seen in my home when I was a child, in my home and also in my school. These are the things which have been imbibed in us by our parents and by the teachers. So once this foundation is there in you, whichever position you are, you always try to see that the society is happy, people are happy, there is less corruption, and if there is corruption also, then you can always do this thing. So corruption at any cost, we have to fight. This is our duty. Maybe as students also, if you find corruption and if you are not able to get your work done, don't pay money. Let us fight. Let us fight. Then only we can improve. Many people think that let my work go, but then I will talk about corruption. That is not correct. In corruption, you should not become a partner in corruption also. We should fight. There are good people always in the society, and let's all come together and fight this big menace of corruption.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, there is one more question from our student, Robin Paul. He asked, who take action against the corrupted government official?
Yeah, if your state government, it is there, it is the Anti-Corruption Bureau. If it is the central government employee, it is the Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI. And if the officers in that organization itself are corrupt, again, they are, because recently you might have read about a news item wherein CBI has arrested their own people in one case. So this corruption, there are always checks and balances. So politicians also, if you see, a lot of people have gone to jail. I mean, under corruption, and a lot of bureaucrats also, they have gone to jail for the corruption. A lot of people are getting convicted because corruption, you have joined the service saying that you will reduce or you will remove corruption. Suppose if you yourself get into corruption, who is going to say? So there are organizations, there are checks and balances in the system. And also there is a Central Vigilance Commission is also there. It is called CVC. And also in the state, we have what is known as a vigilance, Lokayukta and Central Lokpal. So Lokpal, Lokayukta, Central Vigilance Commission, Central Bureau of Investigation, Anti-Corruption Bureau, all these things are there to see that the corrupt public servants are booked. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, sir. There is one more question. Without taking the permission from the person doing recording or doing any kind of spy thing with the help of CCTV or spy cameras, what kind of penalty is there for the person?
Yeah. Actually, the right to privacy is one thing. I mean, somebody cannot come and put a CC camera in my home. But maybe in common places, to prevent crime, they may fix it on the highways, maybe on the streets, maybe in the malls, all these places, wherein controlling crime is also very, very important. And also picking up evidence is also important. So suppose if somebody breaches that privacy, then always we can approach the court or we can approach the police also, because a right to privacy is, Supreme Court said, it is part of the fundamental rights and it is part of Article 21 also. It is very, very clear. So there is a limit to it. There is a limit to it where CCTV cameras can be fixed. We have CCTV cameras in the police station also. We have CCTV cameras in the police station also, because if some atrocities are going to be committed, it will get recorded. So where the authorities are there, where there is a possibility of violation of human rights, as people are mentioning, maybe illegal detentions, maybe sometimes torture, all these things, we are supposed to put the CCTV cameras. It is for the benefit of the people. But if it crosses a limit, where it infringes upon your personal privacy, then it becomes a violation. It becomes a violation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. There is one more question from a student. Avdesh Pal, he want to ask how to handle the pressure which a civil servant gets from the political leaders.
Actually, pressure or stress, which you have been talking about, I think foundation also, in the foundation course also, you have the stress management and other things. Actually, stress generates when you do a thing which is not of your liking. Suppose nobody gets stressed when they are watching movies. When you watch a movie, there is not even an iota of stress on anybody, because you are totally immersed and you are liking it. Suppose if you like the work, what you are doing, it gives you pleasure. It doesn't give you stress. If you enjoy attending a class, if you enjoy reading a book, it doesn't give you a stress. Suppose if you don't enjoy sitting in a class, it is a very stressful thing for you. So we have to put some stress management courses for you. If you are reading a book, you are not enjoying it, then it generates a lot of stress. So whatever you are doing, enjoy that. Then there won't be any stress. Of course, pressure from the political bosses, that's what I think Mr. Paul or somebody wants to know. I mean, you have to have the pressure or strength to withstand it. If you have the intellectual strength, if somebody is trying to put pressure on you, you can always control it. That's why initially itself I said, you may have less physical strength, you may be having less mental strength, but if you have the intellectual strength in you, you can always tackle this pressure. What best they can do, they can transfer you out. This is what somebody wants to pressurize you, and if you don't listen to them, they will try to do it. I always tell people, when you are transferred out, you get a lot of money as transfer advance, transfer allowance. And also you can take your children in a flight. And also you go to different places and you make different friends also. So instead of staying at one place, if you can go to different places and you can do different things, so you also enjoy it. Suppose, yes, somebody has put you pressure and you said no. Yes, he has transferred it. Enjoy it. Go to a new place and start doing the same thing. because of the fear of the transfer, if you start succumbing to that politician, then you have compromised with your human values. You have compromised with the promise what you have taken when you joined the civil service. So develop the intellectual strength. Develop the intellectual strength. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. There's one more question. A student is want to know that his name is Brajesh. He want to know that it is. He says that on value basis, it is easy to become a leader, but it is very difficult to become an officer because you need to work under the leaders. So, shall we compromise the values when we become a leader? When we become a public servants, that for the leaders?
No, you should never. You should never. You have so much of authority in you, so that even if somebody tries to pressurize you, you should be able to withstand it, and you should be able to tell him straight, I can't do this. Because politicians also try to test you what type of person you are. When you join, they will tell you 2-3 words. 2 words which are legal and 1 thing which is illegal. So they will try to see the response of the officer. Whether he is doing the legal things and telling them that because this is illegal, I can't do it, they will assess the officer. Suppose if the officer does the illegal thing first and reports to them, then they will say that here is an officer who is ready to do whatever we say. Then they keep on putting pressure on. So the civil services training which we get always gives you a confidence, and apart from the training, it is the foundation which is very important. I mean, maybe in the training they may give you, but if your foundation is good, then definitely you can handle these situations in a much better manner. So this foundation course which you are undergoing is a very prime important thing for all of you. Develop these human values which we are talking about. They will be helpful throughout your life. And you will have a sound sleep, because right to sleep is also, as I mentioned, it is one of the rights under liberty. So within 5 minutes, you should go to deep sleep. That is how peacefully and how joyfully you are doing your job. That's an indication. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. There is one question from a student. He want to know that if police pressurize the families in certain matter, which act the police department is using for it to pressurize the family. I don't know exactly what the student want to ask, but
can I say?
Yes. Please.
One area will pressuring one family. Which act will taken by police department?
Yeah, I mean, they can't pressurize the family. At the most, they can collect some information in the form of investigation, but they can't pressurize it against
To vacant our place. To vacant our place.
No, police do not have any authority to vacate your place.
Oh, not a police. This is chawl.
The chawl also. Chawl also
The
you don't have,
chawl?
because you have the chawl in your name, and only if the court decides that the chawl is not in your name, and the court gives a direction to the police that the judgment it gives, police can only give protection to the person who is going to occupy your chawl. Police suo motu, they can't vacate your chawl. It is totally a civil matter. It is totally a civil matter. If somebody is doing it, kindly report to the authorities. You can always send a mail to the Director General of Police Office. If it is in Mumbai city, you can always send it to the Mumbai Police Commissioner. Their email addresses are very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Dr. Amita Valmiki has one question. In connection to values, how far we take a religion as a base? What about fanaticism in matter of religion that vitiates human values? Please, sir, your comment on this.
Yeah. Religion is actually opinion of the people. That is what religion means. It is the opinion of a group of people. That is called religion. Actually, it should not get converted into fanaticism. Actually, religion should reform an individual. Religion should reform an individual, and they should make you to pick up the values which are there. Maybe the texts, or maybe the epics, or maybe the books prescribed, or maybe the literature that is available for the religion. No religion talks anything bad about any this thing, but it is only our interpretation. That is leading to fanaticism. So my sincere this thing is people should go through these the literature. Majority of the people, they do not go through the literature and they simply go by the emotions and they go by the passions. That is where the problems are coming. This particular phenomenon is called post-truth phenomenon. Of late, it is engulfing the entire world. This post-truth phenomena. That means you don't get into the details, you don't get into the subject, but you are actually taking decision based on the passions and emotions being aroused by the people around you. So this is where it is a very, very dangerous things to happen. So this religious fanaticism or this fanaticism at any cost, it should be controlled. So the intellectuals in the society, they have to wake up. And also many people are going to the courts also to against this. So if it converts into fanaticism, it is quite dangerous. So we should not allow this to become fanaticism and we should always control it. We should always control it. That's why I said, once the foundation or at the home and in the institution, if you develop these human values, whatever may be the pressure coming from the other side by the post-truth, the individuals will not get affected and they will stick to their values and it will lead to an integration of the society, and in the name of religion, it will not result in the disintegration of the society. So that is one thing we need to. So wherever you see human values are going to play a very, very important role and we need to take them very, very serious. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. There is one more question from student. Why government transfer uncorrupt person, especially a person who is not corrupt? What is the reason behind that? So can we say that government officials are better than the leaders in case of values?
Yeah, in the sense, I mean, values are basically an individual phenomenon. You have very good politicians, you have very bad politicians. We have very good bureaucrats and you have very bad bureaucrats. So this lot is there, but only thing is we have to increase the good lot. I mean, you have to throw these bad apples and you have to have a good lot in a big number. So that is how. As I mentioned, the government has power or authority to transfer an individual. That is in their charter of duties. But when all bureaucrats, they will rise to the level of no choice for them. So everybody, whoever is sitting in the chair, he is going to be the same. I mean, if we generate a group of people with the same characteristics, then whoever is coming to the chair, so the thing is going to be the same. Because we have different type of people in the organization, they try this pick and choose thing. So the reformation should come in the bureaucracy or the civil services so that everybody, if they stand on the same pedestal as far as the human values are concerned, the politician will not have to have any choice. But in the process, he has to change himself. He has to change himself. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Baisakhi madam says that it is a wonderful and motivating lecture. Yes, sir, it is a really wonderful and motivating lecture. I can say that it reminds me Albert Einstein, where he says that try not to be a man of success, but try to be a man of values. So naturally, values are going to nurture you at each and every path and really will succeed you in your life automatically. There is no extra need is required, extra efforts are required if we really imbibe the values within us, because Vivekananda also says that, where Swami Vivekananda says it is very important to nurture your thoughts, because your thoughts are becoming your actions. So take care of your thoughts, so naturally your action already taken care of. Now I request Professor Stephen Lobo for the vote of thanks. Thank you, sir.
As you just mentioned about
Amit ma'am.
Albert Einstein, you mentioned about Albert Einstein, because the best definition about education, what I found, is that of Albert Einstein. He says education is what remains with you after you have forgotten what you have learned in school and college. It is again human values. That is again human values, finally. Yeah.
So we have many teachers who have joined. We have Dr. Tabassum Sheikh has joined, our own college teachers who have joined, and it is a great feeling for us that they have also come from different faculties. And at the same time, we have MA students who have also joined. So I was just keeping track of as a in charge, I feel that I want to keep a track of who have joined also. It's very significant. And we don't only have undergraduate students, we even have postgraduate students and teachers who have come to this platform. Thank you so much for this motivating, enlightening, and wonderful lecture, sir. We are completely indebted to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the wonderful opportunity to me.
Professor Stephen Look.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am. It is indeed my privilege to propose the vote of thanks. First and foremost, I would like to place on record our sincere thanks to Mr. Laxminarayana for having spent his precious time with us and having enlightened us with his beautiful inputs on human values. Sir, you very beautifully explained how spirituality is the USP of India, the hereditary values that we have in us, and all the values that we need to inculcate in ourselves to become good human beings. Better still, that the more the human values, the lesser the violation of human rights and higher the happiness index. You also explained extensively on our basic rights. Thank you so much for that, sir. I would also like to thank our management, Honorable Director Dr. Usha Mukundan, respected Principal Dr. Himanshu Dauda, and Vice Principals, Dr. Amita Valmiki, Head Department of Philosophy and in charge of the Department of Foundation course, Dr. Tabassum, who is with us, who has helped us with this contact, all the invited students from outside, my dear colleagues and my dear student friends for having attended this session. I'm very sure we have taken a lot from what has been shared with us by sir. Thank you all once again.
We also thank Devi Prasad for organizing and arranging the whole thing.
Yes, for all the help. Without
technical
help,
things, it was not possible. And please I request every one of you to please switch on your videos so that we can take group picture. Okay, Stephen sir, please help us with this.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, Siddhant. Oh, Robin, hello. Yes. Vaishaki madam, please. Yeah. Please switch on your videos, please. Students, please. Friends, please switch on your videos. We want more faces to come, not just names. Okay. Yeah, Chandrababu. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Sneha madam, Vilasini madam, please.
Yeah.
Yes. Sneha madam, please. Yes.
Just 1 minute. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. You can conclude, Stephen sir.
Yeah, I'm done, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you one and all.
Thank you, one.
Sir.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Can I leave, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you.